Welcome to Node.js Foundation Core Technical Committee meeting for October 19th. And we are going to start with a stand-up. Bradley, take it away.
Was on vacation last week, but this week I've started going through the ECMAScript spec changes we need for modules, and that is going to be rough, but we're doing it.
Hey, Bradley, on that, I know Jeremiah had reached out to the Chakra team about the ES modules implementation in Chakra. Do you guys still need X? Do you need to work with them more?
I don't think so, because we need a few spec changes, and there are problems doing spec changes. We invalidate invariants in order to match ES modules. So.
Okay, well, if you do need either of you, just let me know. I can help with that.
Next up is Colin.
Reviewed issues and pull requests, and then finally got around to working on a pull request I started like 2 months ago. So that's done. That's about it. Evan's next.
Yeah, I cut the 6.8.1 release, opened a small doc PR, and then just some issue and PR review. Next is James.
Yeah, I've been preparing the 7.0 release, working on PR, triage, and landing, and working on the HTTP2 prototype. I don't have the list in front of me, so I'm not sure who's next.
Next
Me.
is Josh.
So a couple PRs around the user experience with the debugger. I'm also trying to figure out how we include guides with the API docs. I know we gotta fix the build script a little for that, so I've been looking into that. I'm actually off this week, so I'm doing a little less than usual. Next is Michael Dawson.
Great. So was off for a couple days on vacation. Did add the code coverage nightly job and a PR to document that. Miscellaneous issue review comments lands. Then maybe I stable node discussion and work. And there's a number of benchmarking issues that I took an initial look at that I'll have to get back and do a little bit more on as well. Next is Julian.
Nothing really significant this week. Next is Brian.
Michael, if he has anything.
Michael Rogers.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michael Rogers.
Oh, hey, sorry. I was just dealing with live streaming stuff. I'm still just putting together a lot of the budgeting stuff. I don't think that I have anything on the technical side to update this time around. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know who's next.
Yeah, that's me. So basically just continuing my work on improving the performance for string encoding and decoding. Other than that, just the usual commenting on PRs, reviewing. Next is Ali.
So I've been doing some triage on upstream V8 issues for backporting, and nothing much else that's notable. Next is Jen, who's just observing. So the next one would be Stephen Loomis, if he's here.
Yep, just in the middle of editing. So yeah, so back from being away, IC58 is going GA end of this week, so I will be updating 7844. I don't know if I have a PR for that yet or not, but anyway, it'll be there. And also, I did backport. Where did I backport? That's what happens with vacation. I backported the break iterator crash, the don't crash with break iterator thing. I'm doubly entered here. But anyway, yeah, I backported that. I'll put the issue number in to the 4.x branch. Okay, who's next? Ctc Meeting.
Nothing much this week. Mostly peer review stuff. That's it. Who else is left?
Trevor's next.
Only thing of note is that Matt Loring worked with me last week, and I think the proposed Promise Hooks API is sufficient for what we need if we combine that with the debugger API. Next is, I believe, Rich.
Yeah, I've been doing stuff with Outreachy and flaky tests and linting tools and rules and some governance stuff that, lo and behold, that will be the first thing on the agenda. So let's see, did anybody else sign on while we were doing that? It looks like no. So review of the previous meeting. We discussed the expanding the use of the issue tracker, and I think that landed, right? Let me see. Yes, that did land. Hooray. Okay. We also, there's the supported platforms list, which is now we have, so that's completed as well. We had 8419, which is multiple listen events fail silently, which I think we sent back to GitHub for discussion. It's still ongoing. And we're going to continue the conversation today of consider folding TSC into CTC, although we might boot that again if Rod isn't here. So I blasted through those. Does anybody have anything they want to say about any of them before we move on to the agenda proper? Okay, in that case, first item on the agenda is in the node repo pull request number 9072. It's adding documentation to our various governance docs about the use of the CTC review label. James landed it earlier, a few hours ago. It seems to have like 7 or 8 LGTMs from CTC members, and it also had a vote of approval from Miles in the CTC meeting comments. So this may kind of sort of be resolved. I'm not sure. But if anybody wants to review it and make sure that they don't have any objections, the time to do so is like now. So, and I don't know that there's anything to discuss, but I'll stop talking for a few seconds in case people have things they want to say about it. But really quickly, the hoped for end result is more decisions that can be made in the issue tracker will be made in the issue tracker, and we'll have, only things that have to be in meetings, talked about in meetings. Cool, I'm going to take silence as a good thing. Next up on the agenda is 9010, which is the net multiple listen events fail silently again. And Evan, I believe you put this on the agenda. Do you want to frame this conversation?
Well, 9010 is actually about the error message for an invalid character in the value of a header. But yeah, that's the next one on the list. It just is all the error message or the changes is adding the header name to the error message. Yeah, there's not much else than that.
Is this on the agenda because you want to land it in 7?
I would like to land it in 7. I don't know if that's going to be possible at this point, though. I know Chalker said Nikita said that there were 3. There was one package, but there were 3 instances of the error message. But it looked like a copy of the HTTP outgoing file. But he did say that he needed to sync the data set and recheck. It's just something that I personally ran into, and
with regard to timing V7, any remaining December majors that are going to make it into 7 have to land today. The release candidate is going to be cut tomorrow.
Yeah, and I know Ben had expressed some concerns regarding whether this could lead to like an information leak if the header name is attacker controlled. So yeah, it's like I said, it's not that complicated of an issue, but you know, if everybody could kind of chip in on how they feel about it, it's just something that we ran into and was difficult to diagnose which header was the problem.
So I guess the open questions are, who's comfortable? Is anybody uncomfortable moving on this without the input from the NPM data that Nikita would provide? And I mean that's basically the only really big.
It sounded like there were already some hits, though, right?
Yeah, but they sounded inconsequential, right? They were copies of the node source. Is that what you were saying, Evan?
Yeah, I'll paste the comment in the chat, in this chat for Uber conference. There's 3 hits, and the package name is http-node. And it looks like it's just the underscore http underscore outgoing.js file from lib. But then again, Nikita said they needed to sync to get the latest data set as well. So I don't know, maybe a possible workaround could be to add like a debug statement in there before the throw. Then it wouldn't actually change the error message. I don't know, maybe that could be a compromise. Because that would make it, you know, that'd be just a Semver patch, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good idea. Sort of why, if we can avoid a Semver major just before we cut, that sounds like a better, and then that could be landed afterwards, right?
Sure. Okay. I'm totally fine with that as long as there's a way to figure out what the header is.
And the debug message, it would just be you'd have to turn on debugging, right? That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good compromise to me.
So land that and land a debug message in V7, and then consider changing the actual message in V8, meaning version 8.
Right. Yep.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Sounds like there's a short-term resolution on that, and then the longer-term conversation can continue in the issue tracker. And then James added, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I said the last one was the net module, but that was, yeah, as Evan correctly pointed out, that was the HTTP module. I read the wrong description. James added the multiple listen events fail silently. Take it away, James.
No specific opinion on this. It's just a matter of whether this is something that needs to land for 7 or not. I have no specific opinion on it. As of right now, it's unresolved, so it's, the current disposition is that it won't land. But if anyone feels strongly about it, then I encourage them to get into the PR discussions and weigh in today. That's it.
Okay, I'm just going to give it a few more seconds, see if anyone else wants to dive in. Sounds like no. Okay, so meaning no, nobody wants to comment at this time, not no on the change. So last issue on the agenda, unless somebody has something they want to add, is from the TSC repo. It's issue number 146. Consider folding the TSC into the CTC. Rod put it on the agenda. He can't make it today. He's not here. I don't think there was any decision to be made. He just wanted to make sure the CTC had the conversation. I'm happy to let people talk about this as much as they want to. I'm of the opinion that I don't really have anything to say that can't be said in the issue tracker at this time, and I think that we probably want to leave this on until Rod is around. So we'll probably just have the conversation again when he's here. But that's not necessarily a reason not to talk about it now if anybody has anything they want to say. Okay, this is going to be a gloriously short meeting, it sounds like. Are there any other agenda items that anyone meant to add at the start of the meeting that we didn't talk about? Oh, that's right. There was something from Miles. He wanted there to be a conversation around V691. He doesn't say what, I don't think, other than whether we should try. I'm thinking he probably wanted us to express opinions about whether we should try to have the release this week or next week. I don't know who's been following the 691 stuff. Anybody?
I haven't followed it that closely, but other than there was a regression which triggered that in stream, is basically, I think, you'd get the wrong stream.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if we can get it out today, then I think we should. If not today, then definitely Monday or Tuesday. I don't think we should release on Thursday or Friday.
And you had expressed that opinion in the issue tracker, so cool. Josh?
Yeah, I guess we still have time, so I'll bring up number 8978.
Hang on, Josh. We're still talking about version 691.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. Evan, did you have something you wanted to say?
I expressed my opinion in there. I agree with James that if we can get it out today, we probably should, especially with 6.9.0 being a security release and a move to LTS.
Yeah, might as well get started on the right foot if we can.
Yeah.
What was the issue number again?
I'm not sure. Let me see.
$91.86.
Okay, thanks. Didn't see it in the agenda there, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna unless somebody thinks they're gonna want to dive in on this right now, I'm gonna suggest that we just make sure that if you, and actually, since Miles was asking about it, if we want to make sure Miles, sees it, put your comments in that issue, and we probably don't need to have the conversation here. Anything else on that, just in case I'm wrong about that, and we do need to talk more about this. And so I'm gonna stop talking for a few seconds, and then if nothing comes up, then we'll move to Josh's issue. Okay, Josh, take it away. What would you like to talk about?
Just wanted to bring up 8978, where we were discussing a bit the hint text that comes when you run Node with the inspector, and I brought up there switching to the just the URL to the WebSockets, and I think we were going back and forth on the issue about whether the time to remove the URL into Chrome DevTools might be now or whether it would be later, perhaps around 55. So I just wanted to bring that up because today is the last day, I guess. If we wanted to do that now, we'd have to decide now.
Is this a Semver major change?
I don't think so. It would be just the text that goes to standard error.
Since the inspector is still a experimental feature, then no, it definitely would not be a Semver major. And we could get it in one of the other release candidates if we felt it was critical. I'd prefer to limit what we do as far as additional commits in the release candidate.
But you're saying it could go into 7.1.
Yeah. Or even a 7.01.
Yeah, I don't think we should land that until you can at least list the debuggable node processes in Chrome. So that'd be Chrome 55.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, I don't think there should be an urgency to change the URL. I do think it's a good change down the road, but let's give the ecosystem and the debugging tool some time to catch up and provide a good user experience. Because making this change now makes it harder to debug things, and people have to go figure out how to connect. So I would prefer keeping it as is, and I don't think there's an urgency here that we must do it before V7 or V7.1 or anything like that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I don't see that it's urgent. Give it enough time to come up with the right answer.
Okay, what I'm thinking is maybe adding the generic URL at the top, not taking out the Chrome DevTools URL, and getting the debugging guide or whatever put in there. So that's what I will go forward with based on the input here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Okay, we're going to be moving on to Q&A on public channels in a little bit. So Michael, I think Jeremiah usually posts that to the IRC channel or something if you want to do that. If not, someone else can do it, I suppose.
I'm not in the IRC channel. The link got posted to Twitter though, so.
Okay. I'm posting in IRC right now, Q&A for CTC in a few minutes, in another minute or so. If you have questions, type them here. I have a question. Who's Adrian?
Adrian.
Oh, they're gone. They were here. Okay. No. All right. Right. So upcoming meetings. Let's see here. So next CTC meeting will be 1 week from today on October 26th. It will be 9 a.m. Pacific. Of course, I know Pacific time because that's where I am. That probably doesn't help everybody else too much. But anyway, TSC meeting is tomorrow, right? Or yeah, tomorrow at, so look that up. And yeah, that's the same time as this meeting, yeah. So in about 23 and a half hours. Diagnostics working group is going to have a meeting the first week of November, and no other meetings are listed. I'm pretty sure there's a build work group meeting on Monday. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any questions on in the YouTube comments, Michael? Or you don't look there either? I'm not.
The problem is that I brought all that stuff up in the same window that I'm displaying to YouTube. So every time that I go to it, it changes.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there's no questions in IRC, and I want to see if I can check over on YouTube right now. And not sure I know where I'm supposed to look, but I don't see anything comments-wise. There's a chat window. Oh, wait, here we go. No questions here. Oh, hi. Good afternoon. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm just going to move on. I think that's it. We're done, aren't we? All right. This has been a wonderful, wonderful meeting experience. Thank you all for being part of it.
Thanks.
Okay.